Hey, salute everyone to the BX Sports Jedi Network. Ready to start off our new program. Yes, indeed. A new program, the G Money Hoops Show and Podcast. I am Bronx Sports Jedi Network. I am not the host of this program. I'm just here for the channel. And I want to introduce to you the one and only, the host of the program, the notorious G Money. Salute, G Money.
Chicken and bacon, cool cats. What's going on, everybody?
I'm doing well. G Money, I leave you the network. Go for it, my friend. Talk to us.
Salute, salute, salute. Hope everybody's enjoying this Saturday afternoon. So far, it has been an amazing, stupendous season so far for many teams in the league. Have been early surprises, has early disappointments. And as we start the show, thank you for coming to my channel and hope everybody stays safe. And you can join our podcast platforms by going to Anchor FM, Spotify, Podbean, Reason FM, or you can also go to buzzsports.com to check this out. It's amazing. So as we start things off, let's start about what's going on in the league today. As you look at the standings right now, the Eastern Conference standings, Brooklyn's number one in the East, 18-8. Chicago has been stupendous, 17-9 to start. Milwaukee, 17-10. The defending champions trying to hold on to their throne. The Miami Heat are 15-11, has slumped as of late. The Washington Wizards came off a electrifying game-winning shot by Kyle Kuzma, hitting a three ball in overtime to beat the Pistons to 15-11. The Cavs, the wine and gold winners, have been shocking 15-12. Just came off a blowout victory at the Twin Cities in Minnesota last night. And the Sixers, who have slumped most of the season, 14-12, number 7. The Bumblebee, Young and Fun Charlotte Hornets, 15-13, number 8. The Hawks came off a tough loss to the Nets last night. They're 500, 13-13. The Celtics came up getting shellacked by the Valley Boys, the Young and Fun Phoenix Suns. They're 13-14, lost 3 in a row. And also, the Raps took down the Knicks last night in a thriller. They are 12-14, like the Knicks, who have struggled minorly as of late. And the Pacers came off a huge win against the Mavs. They're 12-16 in the East. The Magic have been absolutely tragic, 5-21. They're 14th in the East. And the Detroit Pistons, man, their motor stopped running. They're 4-21, have lost 11 in a row, and blew a big lead against the Pelicans last night. If you go to the West standings, the Golden State Warriors 21-4 have won 2 in a row. Chef Curry looks to light up Wells Fargo Center tonight on ABC 8:30. And then you had my young and fun Phoenix Suns trying to redeem themselves after the tough loss in the finals. They're 21-4 right now. Came off a blowout victory against the Green Leprechauns from Boston. They're 21-4 right now. They won without D-Book and DeAndre Ayton and Frank Kaminsky. The Utah Jazz are 18-6. They've been on the road. They've won 6 in a row. The Memphis Grizzlies have tread water very well without John Morant, 15-11. 4th in the West. The Clips are 14-12. They're 5th in the West, only a game back of Memphis. The Lakers have been very inconsistent as of late. Had a demolition against the Thunder last night, winning by 21. They're 14-13, number 6 in the West. The Mavericks are kind of slumped as of late. They're 12-13. They're 7th in the West. And the Nuggets, who have dealt with a lot of untimely injuries, are 12-13. They're 8th in the West. And the T-Wolves, 11-15. They're on a huge slump. Lost 5 in a row. And the Kings came off a difficult loss to the Hornets last night. 11-15, losing by 1 single point because De'Aaron Fox couldn't hit 2 free throws that would have won the game. For the Trailblazers, they're 11th in the West, 11-15. They lost 4 in a row. Hopefully, CJ can recover from his collapse lung. Prayers up for CJ McCollum. Hopefully, Damian Lillard can come back healthy and stronger. The San Antonio Spurs, yeehaw, at 9-15. They came off a blowout victory over the Nuggets. The Rockets, who had the 7-game winning streak, snapped by the champs last night. They're 8-17. They're 13th in the West. OKC, 8-17 right now. And then the Pels came off a big win against the Pistons, they're 8-20, dead last in the Western Conference. So far, my surprises who have caught my eye are the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Washington Wizards, the Golden State Warriors, and also the Chicago Bulls. Let's start with the Cavs. So far this season, 15-12, they played really well on the road. If you notice with Cleveland, Cleveland is 9-5 away from Ohio, and they have good young talent. Evan Mobley, who's done really well, giving them double doubles. Kevin Love stretching the floor, passing the rock, crashing the glass. Ricky Rubio, who has found his niche in Cleveland, can hit big time threes for them. Could dish the rock, placing the defense. Laurie Markkinen has really been balling. Scatting from downtown, going to the basket. So the Cavaliers have done a lot of good things. And even Shetty Osman's been big time hit some tough clutch shots for them too. So Cleveland has been surprised, and they're a team that could have a shot making the playoffs for the first time since 2018 when they went to the NBA Finals and lost and got swept by the Warriors. My other surprise team is the Chicago Bulls, number 2 in the East, despite the fact they dealt with COVID. Vucevic missing many games due to COVID. Also, DeRozan missed few games because of COVID, and DeRozan and Levine have been stupendous so far this season, hitting some clutch buckets, has some monster games, and even Alex Caruso has been a revelation for them defensively, getting some deflections and steals. Good for them, and also even Lonzo Ball stretching the floor, playing some great defense. So the Bulls have done very, very well, and they're a team that's trying to make the playoffs for the first since 2017, and I think they'll do just that. My other surprise, those Wiz kids, the Washington Wizards. Washington has been a huge surprise this season. Many people thought when they got Kuz, Harrell, KCP that they were gonna slump and Dinwiddie, but so far they have been huge this season. And the Wizards on the other end, I mean, look at this. They've been dominant at home, 8-3 in DC, and Kuz came off ice in the veins. Bang, boom, shakalaka, canned the three ball in Motown last night. I was a few nights ago, I'm sorry. And then overtime went over the Pistons. So the Wiz have been very surprising. They're a team that's trying to make the playoffs for the second straight year. And my other surprise in the league, the yeah, those Dubs, Golden State Warriors, 21-4 to start the season. Klay Thompson has to come back yet due to the ACL and the Achilles injuries he had. But he'll come back soon later this month, probably either against Sacramento December 20 or even Christmas Day against my young and fun Phoenix Suns. And when Klay Thompson comes back, he's going to be a little bit rusty early, but later he might get his niche when it comes to shooting. And Steph Curry, the chef, continues to feast. Steph Curry leading the league. Steph Curry has been amazing this season. Top 5 in scoring. Steph Curry leading the Warriors to 21-4. Steph Curry averaging around 27, 28 points per game, who has been balling this season. He has done a great job leading the troops to the number 1 seed in the West, which will be good for them. Jordan Poole has made some big shots. Andrew Wiggins had a revelation. Damian Lee hit some big shots for them. Draymond Green, the heart and soul of the team, plays great defense, can pass the ball. Occasionally can hit a three. He's played well. Even Otto Porter's been big time, hitting some tough threes, and he can go to the right. So the Warriors have really played very, very well to this point. And they're a team you do not want to sleep on. And then my other surprise team, even the Memphis Grizzlies, but then to still tread water, win 6 out of the last 7 games without John Morant. And you want to hear this crazy stat? In 5 of the 6 wins without Ja, they have not trailed at all. Have not even been down 1 zip. They led throughout the whole game 5 straight times until they lost to the lost to the Mavericks that one game, and then they bounced back against the Lakers in a big time victory at the Grindhouse. And here's been my disappointments so far. My disappointment, I gotta start off. To me, my New York Knicks, they went from Bing Bong flexing the muscles into the Bing Bong bums right now. We are slumped as a league. We started off 5-1. It looked like we're gonna be a very, very good team, but then we have in the stupor going 7-13 in the last 20 games, and we really had some tough losses at Spain. Orlando twice, Toronto twice, Cleveland. We barely beat Houston. Um, we haven't had a winning streak since October when we won 3 in a row against New Orleans, Philly, and Chicago. So New York needs to step in and need to share the ball, move the ball, crash the glass. Julius Randle has not been consistent. Same thing with RJ Barrett, in my opinion. Alec Burks, Alec Burks, even though he's been clutch here and there, he struggled a few times. So we're struggling right now. And we just need to just pick things together, and we just gotta be a better home team. We're 5-8 at the Big Apple, which is unacceptable. And we have a tough schedule. We have the Milwaukee Bucks, the champs tomorrow, and then we have the Warriors. And who knows, maybe Steph might set the record for most three-pointers made in NBA history and that day on TNT. So New York has to step it up. Another team that's kind of a disappointment, the Boston Celtics. I mean, they lost 3 in a row. I know they don't have Jaylen Brown because he's been injured, and I understand that. However, when they were healthy, this team's still been inconsistent, and they have no bench depth at all. Their bench depth is absolutely terrible. Other than Al Horford and Time Lord, Robbie Williams, they don't have another rim protector. Boston's just struggling. Jason Tatum's been inconsistent. Like last night, 10 for 25 last night. That's unacceptable. And their offense just inconsistent. Like Marcus Smart, he's a great defender, but offensively can be streaky. Click those legs, bang those legs, click them high, please. Yeah, and Marcus Smart 1 of 13 last night. That's just tragic. So and Boston's just struggling. Even the Atlanta Hawks have been a little bit disappointing. I mean, Atlanta's been inconsistent. I mean, they started off 4-9. Then they won 7 in a row to be 11-9, and ever since then they've been in a slump. 4 out of 6, lost 4 out of 6 games, blew a big 11-point lead to the Nets last night. In fact, they've been struggling at home as of late. They lost to the Hornets, they lost to the Nets, and they blew a big lead against the Sixers last week. They just been in a stupor. They need to share the ball. They need to find the open end. They need to crash the glass. And another reason too, other than Trey Young, they don't have another second option that could take over the game other than maybe Trey Young. So they've been struggling as of late, and that's the problem here. And in the West, I would put Denver in this list, but to be fair, they've been banged up with injuries. Jokic missed 4 games due to rest. Michael Porter has been out for a while due to a nerve issue in his back. Jamal Murray hasn't been back due to the ACL injury he suffered against Golden State last year, so he's been banged up. And if you look at the field goal percentage, there's a lot of players are hot. Rudy Gobert, 73%. Jaren Allen, 71% could throw it down. Rashad Holmes, 71%. JaVale McGee, the Shaq and the Fool King, 66%, and he had 21 last night. And Montrezl shooting 65%. So that's the field goal percentage. Centers usually shoot higher percentage because they go around the rim and stuff. But you want to hear this? My only problem with many of these teams here, Boston's 15th in offense. They got to pick it up offensively. New York is 19th in offense, which is ridiculous. Kemba just hasn't fit. Fournier is inconsistent, just hasn't fit. But you know who's leading the league in scoring? The Charlotte Hornets, number one. And they like to share the ball. They like to find the open man. Charlotte Hornets have done a great job moving the ball, getting lobs. Miles Bridges can soar like the best of them. He's been big time this season. Gordon Hayward's been big. Scary Terry's been clutch. Even Martin has had some big shots. Even Kelly Oubre has been dynamite in the fourth. So the Hornets have done some really good things. And if they can get LaMelo Ball and Scary Terry back, they're gonna be a dangerous team that I think will make the playoffs this season for the first time since 2016. Another thing too, what the league has done better, they did not allow players to just bait the referees too much, which I love seeing because guys like Trey Young, Damian Lillard, James Harden like to bait the referees a lot. So I like how the NBA's become a little more physical this year, which I love seeing though, which is great. So that's why I love seeing them being more physical, and that's what I love seeing the league do. But last night's scores, you got the Hornets beating the Kings in a thriller, 124-123. Like I said, De'Aaron Fox choked 2 free throws, so would have won the Kings the game. They blew a 12-point lead in that game, so the Hornets got a big win. The Pacers beat Rick Carlisle's former team, the Dallas Mavericks, last night, 106-93. The Nets knocked off the Hawks 113-105 after being up at double digits in hot Atlanta. Brooklyn got a huge W for them. The Raps put the Knicks to extinction 90-87. The Knicks still haven't won a game in Canada since 2015. Tough loss for the Knicks after they were getting shellacked by 20, came back, led by two, led by one lead, but Gary Trent hit a back-breaking three to get the Raptors an advantage. The Bucks knocked off the Rockets, snapping their 7-game winning streak, 123-114 in H-Town. Milwaukee looking for the season sweep over Houston December 22nd. The Cavs knocked off the T-Wolves 123-106. The Cavs just body slammed the Timber Pups last night, and they led by as much as 33 points, didn't trail for 1 second at all. So good for them. The Pelicans beat the Pistons 109-93. The Lakers avoided a thunderstorm, winning for the first time against OKC in a thrashing 116-95. LeBron with a big night. Westbrook a near triple-double, almost had a triple-double. So good win for the Lakers. My young and fun Phoenix Suns shine bright against the Boston Celtics in a beatdown 111-90 at the Valley of the Sun. JaVale McGee had a monster game, 21 points, 15 rebounds, killed it with dunks, layups, reverse slammer jammers. He was huge. The point guard, CP3, with 10 points, 12 dishes. Jay Crowder, he wasn't soft as chatter. Banging 4 threes, 4 of 8 from downtown, 6 of 10 from the field, 16 big points. You had Mikal Bridges, our Iron Man, strong, has not missed a game in his career, 14 points. And then our bench was big time. Jalen Smith, 7 points. Cam Johnson who has been balling, 16 points off the bench, 5 of 9 from the field, 4 of 7 from downtown. Ignore that. Sorry, Cam Payne was 17 points off the bench. So our bench was balling for us. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a true Knicks fan, but I also like watching the Suns because I like their ball moving. And also I want to see Chris Paul get a championship. So the Suns have been playing great. They're 21-4. They've won 20 of the last 21 after the disaster started when they were 1-3. And our next game's against the Clippers, and then on Monday, and then the Trailblazers on Tuesday. So try to keep the streak going, try to keep things going there. Hope we get D Book back, DeAndre Ayton back, Frank Kaminsky back. If we want to hoist that trophy and hold the banner come June 2022. Another team, and then also today's game, you got the Orlando Magic in Hollywood against the Clippers today. Then you got the Jazz and the Wiz tonight, 7 o'clock. Then you got the Kings and the Red Hot Cavs at 8 o'clock at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Then you got those stampeding Bulls against the Miami Heat, potential early playoff preview, in South Beach at 8. Then you got the Rockets and the Grizzly Bears in Tennessee at 8 o'clock. And then you got Chef Curry and Warriors here at the Brotherly Love in Philadelphia, 8:30 on ABC. And who knows, we can see the Chef lit up Wells Fargo Center and become the league leading in 3-pointers made in NBA history, which would be awesome. And then after that, you got the Nugs and the Spurs in San Antonio. Yeehaw! In San Antonio, Texas, 8:30 p.m. And that'll be fun. That's tonight's NBA action. So as of right now, what are my predictions for the season? As of right now, my NBA Finals prediction going into the season was the Phoenix Suns versus the Brooklyn Nets. I'm sticking with that pick, but I could see the Milwaukee Bucks trying to defend their title, the Miami Heat, if they can get Bam and Butler back healthy, giving the Nets a run. And for the West, the Warriors, they're going to be a tough out. But here's the thing that I'm concerned with Golden State come playoff time. I don't know how Klay Thompson will look from his Achilles and ACL injuries, because even though he could stretch the floor from downtown, remember, when he was healthy, he was also good on defense. Yes, he can shoot the ball, but you're going to need him to play some defense. Because if they were to play the Phoenix Suns, right, Klay's not going to slow down Booker, because Klay doesn't have the foot speed like he used to have defensively when he was healthy. Now it's going to be hard. And also rebounding. Like McGee can crash the glass. Aiden can crash the glass on the board. And also rim protection. The Suns have the rim protectors, and Aiden and McGee that could clog the paint which will cause trouble for the Warriors. Steph Curry's gonna have a good series because he can stretch the floor and attack the basket. But I think the Suns can not shut him down, but can contain him because we had the defenders in Bridges and Crowder and even Chris Paul that can be physical with Steph Curry though. And here's the thing too: I haven't seen Jordan Poole in the playoffs, Damian Lee in the playoffs. Wiggins has only been to the playoffs one time, and that was what 2018. I don't know what he's going to do this year in the playoffs. Also, they have too many young guys. Gary Payne II, he's young. I haven't seen what these guys can do in the playoffs yet. So even though I do think the Warriors can go far in the playoffs, I don't think they'll make the NBA Finals. It's because Clay's not fully healthy, and they have too many guys who haven't been experienced the playoffs. Yes, Steph Curry is going to do what he can, but teams are going to double and triple team him in the playoffs and be physical. And even though Steph Curry can shoot the lights out, if you can be physical with the chef, he can be very turnover prone. So that's why I think the Suns maneuver would do if they would have faced them in the Western Conference Finals, which time will tell. In the Eastern Conference, you got the Brooklyn Nets. Again, I know James Harden's been up and down this year, shooting around 40%, which is not good for him. But he is capable of having a big series because if you notice with James Harden, in Houston, even though, yes, there were times in which he should have stepped up in big moments like 2018 against the Warriors, 2017 against the Spurs, and 2019 against the Warriors in there, to be fair, he had to do a whole lot offensively. Now, when you have Kevin Durant coming back, even though he still needs to score, he won't have to spend so much energy. So I think he'll be more fresh come playoff time. And also, even though we don't know when Kyrie is going to come back, there is a shot he can still return. So it's not over for him coming back with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie can still come back and still produce. Or if the Nets were to trade him, you can get a Malcolm Brogdon and maybe a Miles Turner that can help with their rim protection and their passing. So that's the move the Nets can do. The main reason why the Bucks could get the Nets props is because of their size and their ball movement, and also the rim protection. Because the Nets don't guard the perimeter very well. So yeah. But I just think that Milwaukee, I think losing Brook Lopez is going to hurt because you're going to need another rim protector in the paint. And Donte DiVincenzo will come back. He's going to come back against the Pacers this December 15th because he hasn't played since Game 3 against the Heat in the playoffs last year. So that's be good news for them, but it's going to be a little bit rusty. And I just think that's hard to repeat when you have teams going after your head. So even though the Bucks have a great shot to repeat, I think the Nets have enough to get to the NBA Finals. And they might have gone far further if Durant would have just wore a small size shoe and Michael Jackson moonwalked behind the 3-point line. And they would have gone to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Hawks. I think the Nets would have beat them last year. And then they would play up against the Suns. And who knows what could have happened there. So my finals prediction, Nets, Suns in the NBA Finals. My MVP thus far, Steph Curry has absolutely been phenomenal. And Bruce Chris asking me, do you think there'll be trades and who? Okay, I think there'll be a few trades, man. I have a feeling either the Sixers trade Ben Simmons to Portland, and I think CJ McCollum is gone. I don't think Damian Lillard is going to get traded. I just don't see it. I just think Dame wants to show people that, hey, I can lead my team to a championship. Because Dame is really loyal in Portland, man. I personally think he should just go to another franchise that has the pieces for him to win. And also, Dame needs to make his teammates better, in my opinion. But I just don't think he's going to stay in Portland. I think he'll stay in Portland, my fault. I think Dame's going to stay in Portland. I don't think they'll trade him. So I think CJ gets traded to Philadelphia. I just have a weird feeling. I think Miles Turner gets traded. I don't know where, but I think Miles Turner is gone. I think Miles Turner is going to get traded somewhere. I hope the Knicks get him because we can trade maybe Mitchell Robinson for Miles Turner because we need a guy that can stretch the floor, can go to the basket, and can guard the paint. And he's a very good free throw shooter too. So I think Miles Turner get traded. Because Indiana's going to have a fire set. They're going to trade Sabonis or Turner or Levert or Brogdon. So who knows what Indiana does there. And that's pretty much that said. Another team that might make a trade, maybe the Warriors might trade Wiseman or Wiggins, who knows. What about Raptors? Will they make a trade? I don't see it. I don't know what trade they'll do. I don't think Toronto's going to make a trade. If anything, they will have probably to trade Siakam. They have the opportunity, but I don't think the Raptors are going to make a trade. I don't think Toronto's going to make a trade. I don't see it. I don't see it. My MVP so far is Steph Curry. Steph Curry has continued to show people he's a basketball god. The chef averaging around 28 points per game, 44% from the field, could be a little bit better, 41% for downtown, which is smoking hot, and has averaging 6 dishes, and his defense has improved, two steals per game. He's just been phenomenal, man, and leading a team that is 21-4. Christian Wood, Houston could get picks. If I were Christian Wood, I would want to get traded from Houston. Yeah, the Rockets have played well as of late, but if Christian Wood can get traded from Houston to like a contender, it will be nice for him. He can go to either Miami or maybe a Lakers if they have the opportunity, or some other place. Because I don't think he should just waste his talent in Houston on a team that's rebuilding. So I think Christian Wood should get traded, in my opinion. I, Even Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon might be traded too. He's had a phenomenal year, shooting over 40% from three. Will the Suns make a trade to beef up our team? I don't know. I don't think we're gonna trade anybody. I don't see it though. What I want Phoenix to do is maybe hope Kevin Love can get bought out and he can come to our team because he can help rebound the ball because we're not a great rebounding team and help dish the rock because Kevin Love can also pass too. So I don't see any trades by the Phoenix Suns, but I do think Kevin Love might get bought out and go to Phoenix. I just have a weird feeling that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to finish in Cleveland. So my bold prediction, I think Kevin Love gets bought out and goes to the Phoenix Suns. That's my guess. Um. So yeah, what are what are your thoughts? What are my thoughts if the Kings, if you was the GM? Sacramento, man, they're just a dumpster fire. They should have fired Luke Walton a long time ago. I don't think Alvin Gentry's the answer. They should fire Alvin Gentry. He's not a good coach. And to me, man, they just need they just need a star. The Kings don't have a star right now. De'Aaron Fox is good, but they just need a star. If I were Sacramento, you need another rim protector, um, to help out Tristan Thompson. And also, how will I fix it? If I were the Sacramento Kings, I would try to get a coach like a Kenny Atkinson because he did a good job developing the Brooklyn Nets with D'Angelo Russell, Joe Harris, Spencer Dinwiddie, Hollis Jefferson, and Jared Allen. So if I were Sacramento, I would probably get a Kenny Atkinson and maybe get another veteran. I think Kings need another veteran though because currently constructed, this team's not making the playoffs. I mean, look what Sacramento is right now. They're 11-15. And you want to hear this? They're bad at home, 5-8 at home, and Mitchell Robinson and Randall for Fox and Halliburton. I don't want to trade Randall. I can understand Mitch, and I would love Fox and Halliburton. I don't want to trade Randall because again, I know Julius Randall can be turnover prone sometimes, can take some bad shots, especially at the baseline, and I understand all that. But I just don't think New York is going to trade Randall right now. I don't want to trade Randall personally. I would trade Mitch. I would trade Mitch. And you meant Robinson, by the way, Bruce, because you meant Robinson, not Robinson, Robinson. But I don't think New York is going to trade Randall. I just don't. I don't think that'll be a good move for the Knicks because even though Randall may not be a number one option on the championship team, he is a number one option on the playoff caliber team. So I don't want to trade Julius Randall just yet. That's just me personally. That's just me. So, and another team that you should keep an eye out, the LA Clippers. With the Clippers, we don't know when Kawhi is going to come back from injury. He hasn't played since Game 4 against the Jazz in the Western Conference Semis last year in June. If I had to guess when Kawhi is coming back, I'd say somewhere in March, but I don't think he's going to be fully healthy right now because, it's going to take him time for him to get his body in shape. So that's my guess. Are the Lakers in trouble? It's still early, but the Lakers, then they've not played good basketball. The Lakers, man, they've not played good basketball at all. The defense has just been worrisome. Also, they don't use their talent very well. I mean, Russell Westbrook didn't fit consistently, even though he's had his moments here and there. He just doesn't fit consistently. I mean, and another reason why the Lakers continue to struggle, man, their execution in the third quarter is terrible. They're one of the worst third quarter teams in the NBA. So they are in a little bit of trouble. I won't go too early because it's still early in the season, but the Lakers need to fix things together. And also, Anthony Davis has just not played well this season at all. Yeah, he's shooting 50+% from the field, but 19% from three. That's ridiculous. And there's times in which he doesn't have that it factor. Anthony Davis is a great player. He was a baller in New Orleans, but the problem with AD, he never learned to post up, man. And also they're just not playing with any intensity. The Lakers, they had a good win. They had a good win against the Thunder like they should, but they're just not playing very, very good basketball. They're just not. And in fact, the Lakers are what? Middle of the pack in defensive rating. That they should be better. You have Rondo, good defender on ball. Dwight Howard can protect the rim. LeBron can block shots. Westbrook. They should be a better defensive team. And the Lakers right now, they're just not playing any good defense. What are my deep thoughts about the Utah Jazz? I'm not a believer. I'm sorry. The Jazz will win games in the regular season, but I just don't think the Utah Jazz will go far. I don't trust the Jazz because here's why. Even though they have a lot of good 3-point shooters, they're top 10 in 3-point shooting and make a lot of threes. My thing with the Jazz is this: if you can be physical with Donovan Mitchell, you can beat the Jazz. Because even though Jordan Clarkson can shoot in the playoffs, Jordan Clarkson is unreliable. He's inconsistent in the playoffs. In the regular season, he will give you his points and buckets, but in the playoffs, Jordan Clarkson's not that reliable. He shoots around Jordan Clarkson in the playoffs in his career. Jordan Clarkson in his career in the playoffs, he shoots around like 39 to 40%. That's unacceptable. And even this season, he's not played well. 37% from the field, 30% from three. Jordan Clarkson can get you buckets, but he can be very inconsistent sometimes. And Donovan Mitchell's had another good year. Rudy Gobert. Gobert can protect the rim, but if you can stretch him from the perimeter, you can slow him down. I mean, he won't stop you from the perimeter. And also, in the fourth quarter, teams can utilize the strategy to foul Rudy Gobert. And I don't trust him to make free throws, man. I just don't think the Jazz are going to do anything in the playoffs this year. I'm just not a believer in the Utah Jazz. I just think they're a team that's continuously going to underachieve in the playoffs, like last year. I know they were injured with Mike Conley, who had the hamstring, didn't play the first 5 games of Game 6. I know Donovan Mitchell had the ankle injury against the Pacers last year. I understand that. However, you had a 2-0 lead against the Clippers. In Game 5, you had 17 threes in the first half and lost somehow. And then in Game 6, you're up 25 in the third quarter. If you just execute, swarm the perimeter, not let guys like Terrence Mann kill you from the corner, you probably win that game and you would have had a game 7. Who knows? The fact that they lost 4 in a row, that showed to me the Jazz are not trustworthy. Because if you can be physical with Donovan Mitchell and double team and get the ball out of his hands, you can beat them because Mike Conley is inconsistent in the playoffs. Jordan Clarkson is inconsistent in the playoffs. Another reason why I'm not a believer in the Utah Jazz. I just think that this style play shooting a bunch of threes is not going to work. They need to get a lot more mid range shots. I mean, I know Mitchell used a lot of mid range. Conley needs to use a little more mid range, but I just don't think the Utah Jazz are going to go far in the playoffs. I'm just not believing the Jazz. I'm sorry. I'm just not believing the Utah Jazz. I'm just not believing, man. Who is the first coach to be fired? It was Luke Walton. Luke Walton was the first coach to be fired from the Sacramento Kings, and rightfully so, because Luke Walton, he doesn't know how to develop talent very well, and also he doesn't make the proper adjustments into why his teams underachieve every year, man. He underachieved in LA, he underachieved in Sacramento. Luke Walton's just not a good coach. He doesn't have the toughness, man. He doesn't make the proper adjustments. He's just not a good coach, man. So Luke Walton is the first to be fired. Frank Vogel might join next if the Lakers continue to be inconsistent. The Lakers are just not a consistent team right now. So Frank Vogel might be next, though. So the first coach to be fired is Luke Walton for the Sacramento Kings. And also, this could be Greg Popovich's last year in the NBA. Great Hall of Fame career. Greg Popovich has done a good job with San Antonio. Won a championship in his second year in his third year, I'm sorry, as a head coach. Look at his career. 5 championships, 3 coach of the years in 2013, 12, and 14. 4 was the head coach for the All-Star game 4 times, He's a great coach. He's top 10, top 15 in wins his career. Greg Popovich is a great coach, man, Hall of Fame head coach, and and he's done a great job bringing toughness to his players, ball movement, player movement. He's done developing guys like Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard. Even DeJounte Murray's improving. Lenny Walker, Keldon Johnson. Greg Popovich is a Hall of Fame head coach, and arguably, other than Phil Jackson and Pat Riley and Red Auerbach, is arguably the greatest coach of all time. You can argue that. So he's done a great job with the San Antonio Spurs. So congrats for Greg Popovich. Who do I think is going to win Rookie of the Year, and who is my dark horse? Right now, Rookie of the Year for me is between Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes. Evan Mobley has been big time this season for the surprising Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at Mob. Evan Mobley is giving you almost a double. 14 points, 8 boards, 3 dishes, 48% from the field efficient, 33% from free. It could be a little bit better. 78% of the line. He can protect the rim. He can stretch it out from the perimeter. He's averaging 2 blocks per game. So Evan Mobley has been big time for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And also Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes for the baby dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. He's been balling. Almost a double, 15 points, 8 boards, 3 dishes, 49% from the field, which is good. 34% for free, could be a little bit better. 72% of the line could be a little bit better. But he can also protect the rim a little bit. He can get you some steals. So my rookie of the year is between Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes. If I had to choose who I think is going to win it, I'm going to say right now Evan Mobley, because the fact that also Cleveland's been a surprise team, and Chris Duarte is a dark horse. He can scat it from way downtown. He's clutch. He hit the three. I remember he hit a crazy shot against the Lakers to tie the game. Should have been a 4-point play because Avery Bradley fouled him, but hey, it happens. He's played well, giving me 13 points per game, 43% from the field, could a little bit better, 34% for three, that's all right, 74% at the line. He can get you some steals, averaging a steal again, can get into the passing lane, so he's pretty good. So Chris Duarte's played well. Jalen Green don't sleep on Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is a dark horse too. Cade Cunningham, even though the Pistons are pure trash and then the dumpster fire, Cade Cunningham has really, after that slow start he's starting to pick it up a little bit, averaging 16 points per game. He ain't shooting 38% from the field, which is bad, and 31% from three. So he needs to be better with his efficiency. But he has played better over. Yeah, Cade Cunningham was number one pick. He was for the pick. He was. I think he'll be better though. I think he'll be better. He can also dish the rock, but he just needs to be more efficient. If I were Cade. So my coach of the year so far for me is between Steve Kerr, Billy Donovan, and Wes Unseld. That's my top 5 coach of the years right now. Number 1, Steve Kerr. Number 2, Billy Donovan. Number 3, Wes Unseld. Number 4, I'm gonna go JB Bickerstaff. And number 5, I'm gonna go either Taylor Jenkins or Monty Williams, because Monty Williams should be in that list too, especially after that slow start, 21-4. They might have the best record in the NBA, but it's all over. So he should be on my list. So yeah, that's my coach of the year for number 1 for me, Steve Kerr. It's 21-4 to start the year. With I know they added pieces like Iguodala, Otto Porter, etc., but no one expected the Warriors to be smoking hot like this. And in fact, they have not had a losing streak yet, which is crazy. They have not lost back-to-back games yet. They're the only team in the NBA that have not, other than the Brooklyn Nets, to not lose back-to-back games. That's unbelievable. I remember back in 2016, the Warriors went 73-9, didn't lose back-to-back. You even can make a case for Billy Donovan because no one expected the Chicago Bulls to be 17-9 to start the season, especially with the COVID problems. But they have. People thought that when DeRozan and Levine and Vooch and Lonzo were together, people didn't know if it was going to work or not. So far it has. The 17-9, they might win 50 plus games if they keep this up. So you gotta put them in that conversation. I put them in that conversation. My most improved player of the year. There's my most improved player of the year so far. There's a lot of players. There's Miles Bridges who's balled out. There's also John Moran who was balling. He was balling until he got hurt. There's DeJounte Murray. He's balled out for San Antonio. There's also LaMelo Ball. He's gonna get back. Tyler Hero is in that list too because he's been hitting some big shots for the Miami Heat. So he's in my list. And even Jordan Poole should be most improved. Could be in the most improved player of the year candidate too. Anthony Edwards, man, Anthony Edwards will be one of the best Minnesota Timberwolves of all time if he's not already. And Chicago did a good job signing some big free agents like DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball. They made some big moves. Gary Derrick Jones for defense. Caruso can get defense, can hit the three. So the Bulls are making some good moves, man. They're a team out there that don't be surprised if they have a good long playoff run. I don't think Chicago will go far in the playoffs, like as far as them making the finals, but I do think the Chicago Bulls are a team that can get to the second round and can challenge a team out there. And New York, we just signed mediocre to average players. Kemba Walker did not fit. Kemba did not fit this year, man. He just didn't fit. I mean, Kemba was all right in October, but he was terrible in November. Shot around under 40% from the field, 30% from three in November, which is bad. Also, Evan Fournier, he's just too inconsistent. One game, he can drop 42, excuse me, 32, my fault, against the Boston Celtics. And another game, he dropped like 9 points he had last night. Like, it's unbelievable with Evan Fournier. And he blamed it on the horrible sticky end. Like, what the heck, bro? I can't respect that, man. I can't respect that. You gotta be consistent. 41% shooting, that's unacceptable, man. 41% shooting. He's always been inconsistent his whole career in Orlando. I don't know. And Patty Mills would have helped New York, in my opinion. Patty Mills, because he can hit big shots, he can stretch the floor, he can attack, and he was a big piece of what the San Antonio Spurs did back in 2014 when they won the championship. Patty Mills can hit big shots. And even though he's been up and down with Brooklyn shooting the ball wise, he can hit big shots too in the playoffs. And that's another reason why I think the Nets will make the NBA Finals. Because I think Patty Mills and LaMarcus Aldridge are going to be big pieces to what the Brooklyn Nets do in the playoffs, though. Because Patty Mills can stretch the floor and can attack. Aldridge can hit the mid range. He can crash the glass. I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to be a tough team come playoff time. My only thing with the Nets is that even though they've been pretty good defensively this season, I gotta see this team defensively, and also they're gonna need Kyrie. They want to win a championship because remember Durant is going to be double and triple team in the playoffs, and also James Harden. Teams are not gonna foul him though. So yeah, are not gonna foul. They're gonna be physical with James Harden. When's Kyrie coming back? I have no idea. I don't know when Kyrie's gonna come back, man, because he doesn't want to take the vaccine, man. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know when he's taking the vaccine. I don't know when he's coming back, man. If he even wants to come back, though. Because Kyrie Irving, man, I mean, he hasn't played all season due to this cuckoo crazy fiasco of the virus, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, so I have no idea when he's coming back. If I had to make a guess, and I'm not confident, I have a weird feeling Kyrie's going to come back later this season. That's just my guess. That is my guess, man. My thought on the Mavericks, man. The Mavericks, man. They're just an average team. They're just an average team. I mean, the Mavs are just average, man. The Mavs, their execution in fourth quarters is inconsistent. They've lost five straight home games, which is unacceptable. They're just a mediocre team, man. Their offense is inconsistent sometimes. Luka Doncic has been out of weight. Luka's a great player, but he's looked out of shape a little bit here and there. Another reason why the Mavericks are just streaky, even though Porzingis had an all right season, is he gonna stay healthy? I don't know. I mean, the Mavs are just an average team. I mean, look at this. The Mavericks are 27th in scoring. That's bad. They gotta share the ball. They gotta get shooters, man. 27th in scoring. That is just terrible. Like they just can't. They can't score the ball. They need to do better in the fast break. They need to find the open man. They just don't have enough. They just can't score. The 27th is scoring. Like This team doesn't stretch the floor. Luka is a great player. He can attack. He can hit the mid range. He can post. He can pass off a double. But he really needs to get a consistent 3 point shot. Porzingis needs to learn to stay healthy, and Kristaps Porzingis needs to learn to bang in the post. He needs to mix it up sometimes. Like the Mavericks are just an average team, man. And they're a team that if they can get them right match, they get out the first round. But I don't know, man. But if that's it, they'll probably go home after that. Zion, will he help the Pelicans around, or is it heading to a divorce? I don't know. Zion Williamson, Mount Zion needs to shed some pounds. Stay off the Burger King and the McDonald's, man. Eat a salad. Drink some water. Take some Gatorade. Eat fruits. Zion Williamson is a very good player when healthy, but Zion needs to learn how to take care of his body. He needs to take care of his body, man. I don't know. Zion needs to learn to take care of his body. He's not taking care of his body at all, which is sad, man. Because Zion, there's a lot of things he can do. He's athletic. He can go to the rack, put the ball on the floor. If he can get a jump shot, like not a great, but like a consistent jump shot, he could be a better player. But Zion Williamson, I just think Zion needs to learn to take care of his weight, and right now he's not doing it, and it's a problem. It's a problem for the Pelicans, man. He needs to learn to shed some pounds, man. He needs to learn to shed some pounds, be be underrated, and needs to learn to just be himself and get stronger. And that's gonna be a problem for the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm sorry, and that's the reason why one of the reasons why they're struggling. 8-20, they've been disappointing themselves. 8-20, which is bad for them. I mean, I know they dealt with injuries with Ingram, etc. But I I thought before the year the Pelicans would be a decent team. Not even close. They're just trash right now, man. They're just trash right now, man. Will Cat be on the move? I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. Carl Anthony Towns, I don't know. If I were Carl Anthony Towns, I would get traded from Minnesota to a team like Golden State if he can, or even come to New York if we could trade Mitch, or even, maybe Miami or something like that. He needs to get out. He needs to get out of Minnesota because even the Wolves are just continue to be an underwhelming franchise, man. He's just on a team that just stinks. The Wolves have so much talent and they're a mediocre team. They have not made the playoffs since 2018. They only made the playoffs twice since 2004. In 2004, they went to the Western Conference Finals, lost to the Lakers in six, and in 2018, they technically had to play a playing game against the Denver Nuggets, won in overtime, but they got waxed by the Rockets in five. So the Wolves, man, I mean, they just don't have the proper ownership, man. I mean, they have good young pieces, but they don't have the proper ownership. But if I were Cat, I would get traded to a team like Golden State, in my opinion. Because him with Steph Curry who can pass, Steph Curry is a scorer, but he can pass. With him with Draymond who can pass, and with Clay, if he's healthy, which time will tell, he would fit nice in Golden State. Another player that should be traded, De'Aaron Fox. I love De'Aaron Fox, and Fox is a good player. He's had a mediocre season this year. De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox needs to get out of Sacramento, man. He needs to get out of Sacramento, go to a team like Philadelphia, New York, because he's athletic. He can attack the rack, put the ball for penetrate to the teeth of the D. He needs to work on his jump shot. He's shooting 28% from three this year, which is terrible. 45% field is all right, but 28% for three needs to work on that. 75% of the line needs to be better. I missed some big free throws against the Hornets last night that would have won the game. De'Aaron Fox needs to be better at 3-point shooting and free throw shooting, especially in close games. And to me, De'Aaron Fox would fit nice on a team like De'Aaron Fox would fit nice on a team like New York or Philadelphia. Fox's assists numbers are 5 assists per game, so he can pass. He averages 5 assists per game. So he can average 5 assists per game. So I'm only going to be on here for a few more minutes before I have to go. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Anyone in the chat, you can ask me. I'm only going to be here for a few more minutes. So right now, the Nets, the number one in the East. But if you actually notice with Brooklyn, they're 7-7. Excuse me, 8-7 against 500 teams or more. So they're average against 500 teams, but against like the bad teams, they're 10-1. So if Brooklyn wants to go far, they got to beat the 500 teams. Because let's see, they're 0-2 against Chicago, 0-1 against Phoenix, 0-1 against Golden State. So they should be better with that. If you're Brooklyn, Blake Griffin has been terrible this season. Paul Mills has been mediocre. But here's why I think the Nets can go far because they have the talent of Kevin Durant. James Harden's been deep in the playoffs. And Patty Mills has won championships. And I think LaMarcus Aldridge is going to help them too. So I think the Nets will be fine. And Brooklyn's defense, they've gotten better defensively, which is good. Do I believe in Steve Nash? I'm 50-50 on Steve Nash. I'm 50-50 on Steve Nash because, again, even though he had good basketball mind when it comes to playing, as a coach, I feel he needs to learn to use his big man like Claxton to protect the rim. I felt last year they screwed up with the rim protection, and I felt if they would have used more Nick Claxton in the Milwaukee series, he would have helped protect the rim, and they would have won that series earlier. So Steve Nash needs to be better at making adjustments too, and needs to learn how to limit some minutes. Even though Kevin Durant and James Harden are great, you don't want to play them over a lot of minutes so they don't get fatigued. So I'm not a huge believer in Steve Nash. I'm not a huge believer in Steve Nash, man. Not a huge, but I also don't believe in Quinn Snyder. Quinn Snyder does not make adjustments in the playoffs. Like, why keep leaving Rudy Gobert to get torched by guards? Like, why not use Derek Favors and why not use Derek Favors a little bit though? Because he can play some defense and he can hit the mid-range shot himself. Use Derek Favors; he can play some D too. I don't understand that with Quinn Snyder. I don't believe in him in the playoffs. I don't believe in Doc Rivers in the playoffs. Yes, he won before in 2008 with the Boston Celtics, but ever since then he's underachieved. He's lost. He's what? He's lost so many game sevens. He hasn't won a game seven since the Spurs game. The Clippers beat the Spurs in 2015. Are the Celtics in trouble? I believe to be blown up Brown and Tatum doesn't work either. Yeah, Boston's in huge trouble. They just don't use their talent. They don't have a bench. I don't think they'll trade Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, but I wouldn't be shocked. And I don't know, man. I don't believe in Boston. Their depth is bad. Their interior defense is up and down. They play too much hero ball. Tatum plays hero ball. Brown plays hero ball. Schroeder needs the ball. They just don't have a point guard that can that can run the offense. And their bench is just bad, man. They don't have any production off the bench. And Marcus Smart Marcus Smart's had a down season, in my opinion. Marcus Smart's had a very down season for the Celtics. Shooting 38% from the field, which is terrible. 28% from three, which is bad. Jason Tatum's been inconsistent this season, man. I don't know. Jason Tatum shooting 41% from the field, 33% from downtown, which is terrible for him. They need to be better, man. But Boston, they just need to fix their bench, and they just need another star. They just don't have enough, man. They just don't have enough, man. Boston just doesn't enough. So they are in trouble. They may not even make the playoffs. Before the year, I thought they'll be in the play-in, but I thought they'll miss the playoffs. I'm looking right now. They lost 3 in a row. They're just not playing good basketball. Another team that's in trouble, the Portland Trailblazers. Because it's like, when's Dame coming back? He had the ab injury. He hasn't played in a while. CJ McConnell collapsed lung. The Blazers, they don't have any depth at all. Their defense is still trash. Their offense is bad in close games. The Blazers, man, they just underachieve every year, man. Their best team under Dame was arguably 2019 when they got to the Western Conference Finals and got swept by the Warriors without Kevin Durant. Last year, Dame had a good team with Norman Powell, CJ McCollum, Melo, and Yusuf Nurkic, but they didn't do anything. Scott Perry might take over that team. It has been rumored. I will not be. Hey, if you're Scott Perry, we go to Portland, that'll be good. You can make some moves there, right? You can make some moves in Portland, though. The Blazers, man, the Blazers need another rim. They need a rim protector, and they need to fix their bench a little bit, though. They need more depth. Portland has no depth whatsoever, man. None. And it's sad. I mean, Coach Chauncey Billups, he's a decent coach, but you can't blame him too much because it's like he's trying his best, but his roster is flawed. Dennis Smith has been mediocre in Portland. Norman Powell's been up and down in Portland. The Blazers just don't have enough talent to go far in the playoffs. They just need to blow things up. They should have blown this team up years ago. I've always have said this. As long as you have Dame and CJ on the same team together, this team won't go far. And that's what's going on right now. So Portland needs to blow things up, in my opinion. Nurkic is a good center. Nurkic is a good center. Though. He can pass, he can rebound, he can stretch the floor a little bit. My only thing with Nurkic is he's very injury prone because I remember in the 2019 season, he broke his fibula. He missed the rest of the season, and then he didn't play in the playoffs. And then 2020, he didn't come back until the bubble. He needs to just stay healthy. Nurkic is a good player, but he just needs to just stay healthy, man. If they, you know, want to go far this season, man. Because right now, they just can't stay on the court. He just can't stay on the court, and he's an average player. He's just an average player, though. So yeah, but the Blazers, man, they underachieve every season. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. They got to trade Dame or CJ. I don't think they'll trade Dame, but they should trade Dame or CJ. This team they just don't have a leader. And also, their bench is mediocre. Their defense is garbage, man. I mean, look at this. Portland gives up 111 per game. They don't play defense at all. Another team out there that troubled the Lakers. I mean, Westbrook doesn't fit. They don't play defense. I mean, the Lakers, their ball movement's bad sometimes. And their third quarter execution is bad in the fourth quarter. So the Lakers should be better than what they are. 14-13, they should be better. Another team that I thought has played well. So click those likes, please. Another team that's played well, the Charlotte Hornets. 15-13. They've been great at home, 8-4. The Hornets have a bright future. Miles Bridges has been balling, Scary Terry, LaMelo Ball. He's going to be an MVP someday in the future. Gordon Hayward's played well. James Borrego's done a good job developing his young guns. The Hornets have a nice, young, talented team, man. Kelly Oubre's been clutch. The Hornets have a nice, young, talented team. And my bold prediction, I guarantee the Charlotte Hornets will put up a swarm in the playoffs for the first time since 2016 when they lost to the Miami Heat in 7 games. So I think Charlotte's going to be in the playoffs this year. Just another few more minutes, and then we can wrap up this stream. My first show. So today Steph Curry is trying to make the most three. Steph Curry is trying to surpass Ray Allen for the most 3-pointers in NBA history. He's 10 away from doing that. The Chef looking to light up Wells Fargo Center. The Jazz trying to play the Wizards tonight. 7 o'clock. The Orlando Tragic playing the Clippers tonight. In LA, 3:30 today, I should say. The Smoking Hot Cavs playing the Kings tonight, 8 o'clock. Even though Cleveland has been a surprise team on the road, they're 9-5 on the road. They gotta be a better home team, 6-7 at home. They gotta improve their home record if they want to go far and make the playoffs for the first time since 2018. But Cleveland's gonna be a tough out. You have the Bulls playing the Heat, 2 teams we might see in the playoffs. Miami, number 4 in the East. Chicago, number 2 in the East. Miami needs to get healthy. They lost Bam because of UCL injury on his thumb, so he's been out for a while. The Bulls, DeRozan's in COVID protocol, so that's a big loss for Chicago. So the Bulls need to get healthy themselves. I do think Chicago will make the playoffs. I don't know though. I don't think they'll be number two in the East. They'll cool off at some point, but the Bulls will be in the playoffs. And then, like I said, the Warriors trying to play against the Sixers tonight on ABC at the Wells Fargo Center. And then before I end the stream, one more game: the Nuggets playing the Spurs at the Alamo in San Antonio. Yeehaw! And again, you can follow me and this show at our media platforms. You can go to BX Sports Jetter's Twitter. You see it right there, or his Instagram, or the Lidikin, and even his email. You see it right there on the screen. On the screen, you can go to his Gmail account. So that's how you can find the G Money Hoop Show. I love to splash it and cash it. And before I end the stream, thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys for supporting me. Hope you guys are all right. Thank you for tuning in. And stay safe, stay healthy. Drink water, drink fluids. Don't do anything crazy. Enjoy some hoops, man. And I'll see you again next Saturday. Peace.